intervention on cases that have made it to the hospital.
Okay. And then I interrupted you. Would you pick up? You said we were at evidence of treatment at this point?
Yes, there was evidence of treatment. He had an endotracheal tube that was in place, several catheters that were inserted for vascular access, and then the thoracotomy incision that we had talked about. And then as part of the internal examination, I also noted that there was a surgical repair of a defect in the heart.
Okay. And can you tell me what that would indicate to you?
It was the heart was damaged by the projectile, and so the hospital, the doctors there sutured that hole in the heart.
And as far as the tube that was in the complainant's throat, would that also be evidence of emergency life-saving efforts?
Yes.
And so I guess after the complainant was pronounced dead, there he's removed from whatever machines would have been helping to try and resuscitate him. And then they don't take that out, they just send Mr. Jean to you like that?
Right. We prefer the hospital to leave all the treatment in place for us to examine. For the most part, the hospitals do that.
How does a person end up getting to the medical examiner's office from the hospital? Do you know?
I do. We contract with the transport company through UT Southwestern. But then depending on which hospital it is, we have our own in-house crew that will pick up certain bodies.
Okay. All right, the next question I want to ask you is you have a section. Did we finish evidence of treatment?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anything else that you want to convey to the jury about evidence of treatment?
No.
No question in your mind that it appears that Mr. John ended up at a hospital, and it appears that there was life-saving attempts made to keep him alive.
Correct.
And obviously, those failed.
Yes.
Okay. Would you discuss the evidence of injury at this point?
Yes. So Mr. Jean had a gunshot wound of the chest. The entrance wound was on the left side of the chest. It was right above the left nipple. As it entered the body, it went through the soft tissue and musculature of the left chest. It hit the anterior aspect of the left fifth rib. At that point, it hit the upper lobe of the left lung. It hit the heart, which we talked about, that the hospital had sutured that defect. It then went through the diaphragm, which is a thin muscle layer that separates your chest contents from your abdominal contents. It went through the diaphragm, it hit the stomach, it hit the intestine twice, and then it came to rest within a muscle in the left abdominal cavity.
And I'm going to show the jury now, State's Exhibit number 270, is it's going to be a photograph of the bullet wound, the entrance wound to Mr. Jean.
Yes.
Okay. And just so the jury knows, there was no exit wound, is that right?
That's correct.
The bullet, can you tell us, the bullet stayed fully within his body and it came to a rest in like a dense muscle area called the psoas muscle?
The psoas muscle, yes.
All right. Judge, permission to publish 270.
Yes.
The jury's going to be looking at this photograph, and just as a matter of an identification marker, is the entrance going to be just above the left nipple?
That's correct.
All right. And you kind of described the path that the bullet took within his body. You said that one of the areas that was damaged was the heart.
Correct.
Can you give the jury some sort of an indication of the extent of the damage?
The bullet actually hit the left ventricle, which is the largest chamber of the heart. That's the chamber that pumps oxygenated blood to the rest of the body. That defect had been sutured by the hospital, but it looked to have been full thickness through the ventricle.
Is that a significant injury to the human body?
Yes.
Being the largest ventricle, is this where the most amount of blood is being pumped from the heart to the entirety of the body?
Correct.
And then you indicated that there was also injury to the lung, the stomach. Explain, if you would, the extent of those injuries.
The bullet perforated through the edge, the medial edge, that's closer to the midline of the body. It perforated that upper lobe of the left lung. So there would have been bleeding from that wound as well. The lung is a very vascular organ. The bullet then went into the abdominal cavity through the diaphragm. It struck and went through the stomach. So there was leakage of gastric contents or stomach contents into the abdomen.
Can you give us any kind of an idea what a human being would feel with these injuries?
I would expect that it would be painful. But again, it's highly variable on, how quickly a person would die from it. The adrenaline that may or may not be coursing through the body at that time.
Okay. Is the individual going to be losing a significant amount of blood very quickly?
From these injuries, yes.
I'm going to show State's Exhibit number 271, so that no one gets antsy. It's just an X-ray, correct?
Correct.
And does it show where the bullet finally came to a rest within Mr. Jean's body?
It does.
Okay. Now with the X-ray, it's not a three-dimensional photograph, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Judge, may I take off my jacket?
Yeah.
Okay, I promise you that's going to be it. All right. What, Mr. Jean weighed what, 247 pounds?
Yes.
Okay. So when he was 6'1", okay, I weigh over 250 and I'm 5'8", so I'm actually going to probably be a little wider than him. But as far as, just so that the jury can kind of see, the entrance is going to be about here. Is that correct?
Correct.
Just below the left nipple.
Yep.
And as far as where the psoas muscle is, where the bullet was recovered, just from a side angle, you remember the doctor stepped down?
Yes.
Could you show on the jury where on my body, approximately how far back between the stomach and the back we're talking about?
Yes, the psoas muscle is deeper in the abdominal cavity. It rests right up against the spine, and it's going to be probably about right in this area.
And I can't see where you're at. Is that going to be approximately midway or a little bit past midway, closer to my back than to my front?
Yes, the muscle is deeper in the abdominal cavity.
Okay, so approximately right there.
Yep.
Okay, but that's just the position front to back, my stomach to my back, correct?
Correct.
All right, would you show then the jury using my back where the bullet came to rest just from this vantage point?
The muscle is right up against the spine. So if I go midline, the spine, it's going to be about an inch or so away from the spine.
Let me get this, if you wouldn't mind. I've got a dowel rod. Since I've got you up, I might as well do this now. Can you show me on my chest again for the jury approximately where the entrance wound is? And I'll go ahead and point out for you, this would be my left nipple.
Okay. The entrance wound is going to be right about here.
Okay. So using this then as the entrance, can you give me the degree down with the dowel rod, showing kind of what the angle or the path of the bullet would be?
It's going to be about like that.
Okay, I'm going to hold that in place. All right. So for the jury, although the entrance would be here, obviously you can't stick this dowel rod through my heart, right? But you probably
You don't want to do that.
All right, go ahead and have a seat back there, doctor. So although the entrance was here, does the dowel rod, as I have it situated on my body, indicate kind of the pathway through the body, although the jury would have to position it here where my heart is?
Correct.
Okay. So, and do you have the dowel rod ending approximately where the bullet would have ended, except it would have been back here in my back?
Correct.
Okay. Now, you can't give, you have no idea about where Mr. Jean was or what he was doing, correct?
That's correct.
And you have no idea where the shooter was. Is that correct?
Not specifically, no.
Okay. But the path within the body is set. It is what it is. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So if a person is, unless the shooter is on the roof of this room and shooting down, although that's a possibility, that's probably unlikely. Would you agree with that?
I would say that's an unlikely scenario.
Okay, fair enough. And I just want to use that just as an example. But for the purposes of the path through the body, is it fair to say that the bullet is going to be coming from the other end of this dowel rod? Wherever the body may have been positioned?
Yes.
Or if the person had been sitting down, or even if the person had been laying on his back, the bullet is going to be coming in the direction that the dowel rod indicates through the path of the body. Is that right?
That's correct.
The only variable is where the gun is.
That, or if there was a dense interposed target, something in between the body and the firearm that the bullet struck first.
Okay. Do you have any indication that there was anything, you saw well, let me just ask you this, as far as we had a firearms expert look at the bullet, so I'll leave that to her area of expertise. But as far as throughout the body, bullets can be deflected also internally, is that right?
They can be.
Okay, I think I'm done. Is there anything else that I need to show the jury as far as this pathway?
No, sir.
Within the body itself, it is always possible that a bullet could be deflected, is that right?
It's possible.
Okay. In this particular case, did you find any evidence which made you believe that the bullet was deflected within the body of Mr. John?
I did not.
You did find a rib that did indicate that it had been nicked by the bullet.
The bullet did strike the rib.
Do you believe that the rib deflected the bullet, making the path as you've shown the jury?
I do not.
Okay, tell me why.
Bullets, when they enter the body and strike organs or bones, typically follow a straight line path. Even hitting at more dense bones, such as the pelvis or a long bone of the extremity, in my experience, I have not seen a significant deviation of that bullet along its flight path.
Is it your belief that the path that the bullet took was based on the position of the complainant and the position of the shooter?
It's based on the relationship of the muzzle of the firearm to the body.
Again, just exactly what we showed the jury. The bullet was traveling in the path the dowel rod was indicated.
Correct.
So, however the body is positioned, vis-a-vis the bullet or the gun, this was the path that it took in.
That's correct.
Okay. I want to show the jury. Well, you already indicated to the jury that you were able to recover the bullet that was from the body. Is that right?
I did.
Okay. And you already indicated where. I'd like to publish that, Your Honor, 272.
Yes.
When you recover a bullet from the body, what do you do with it, doctor?
The bullet's recovered. It's cleaned, just washing the blood and the soft tissue off. The projectile has been photographed on top of the envelope that I will then put the projectile into. Then that envelope is sealed and signed with my signature and date.
And I'm going to show you what's been already admitted into evidence as State's Exhibit number 250. This is going to be the bullet, the packaging at least for the bullet that was recovered and then sent forward to the firearms folks at your lab.
Yes.
Okay. Now that's your copy. All right, doctor, I've been trying to cover the evidence of injury with you. Is there any other evidence of injury that we need to cover with the jury?
I don't believe so.
And then the next part of the autopsy report indicates the internal examination. I don't necessarily think the jury needs to hear anything that's not really relevant to the cause of death. But if you would, could you just give them an overview of whatever your internal examination was and whatever your findings were?
Correct. The remaining internal examination was unremarkable. There wasn't any significant natural medical disease that Mr. Jean had.
Okay, was Mr. Jean otherwise a healthy human being?
Yes.
Okay, let me just ask you this. Was there anything else that you noted in his autopsy that caused his death other than the gunshot wound?
No.
Was there any evidence that any of the treatment that he received either from paramedics or from the hospital caused Mr. Jean's death?
No.
I also want to ask you one other question. When I was talking to you about internal deflection, you said that it's your opinion that the bullet was not redirected within the body of the complainant.
That's correct.
Do you have an opinion as to whether or not that bullet could have been redirected by any of the emergency life-saving measures done in the hospital?
Yes, the bullet was not, misdirected by the hospital staff.
So the bullet going the path that it did and ending where it did, again, is positional and has nothing to do with any deflection or treatment, maneuvering, or anything like that.
Correct.
I want to talk to you about the toxicology. As part of your autopsy process, do you also extract blood both from vitreous fluid and also from the femoral artery?
Yes, the items 1 through 5 that we could see there is blood. We collect urine if it's available, vitreous, which is the eye fluid, and then skeletal muscle.
So you would draw from the body a certain bodily fluids for the purposes of toxicological examination, is that right?
That's correct.
Okay. And is there an indication that there was marijuana or THC present in Mr. Jean's body?
Yes.
No alcohol then?
None detected.
And then, doctor, you, on your findings, can you go over with the jury, please, what your findings and conclusions are?
Yes, the number 1 finding was gunshot wound to the chest into the abdomen. Number 2 is borderline cardiomegaly. I'm just saying that his heart was a little enlarged, 410 grams, but nothing significant. And then obviously the reported history that we had at the time that he was shot by an off-duty police officer. And then it was my conclusion that Mr. Jean died of a gunshot wound to the chest into the abdomen, and that the manner of death was homicide.
Dr. Gwynn, would you agree, having been a physician for how many years now?
Good question. So getting older, it's hard to remember. 11 years in forensics, and then 5 years in medical training, and then, so do the math.
I was going to say you've been a doctor for a while, right?
It's been a while.
Is shooting a person with a gun or with a firearm an act clearly dangerous to human life?
It is.
And is a gun a firearm? Is a handgun a firearm?
Yes,
And is a firearm a deadly weapon?
it is.
I asked you, or God bless you, Judge. I had asked you earlier whether or not you had a belief as to whether or not the medical treatment, either by paramedics or the hospital, could have had any kind of bearing on the location or path of the bullet. You seemed very confident that it did not. Can you tell me why? Where was the bullet recovered, and why did you think that it had nothing to do with that?
The bullet was recovered in the abdominal cavity. The surgical intervention that was done was in the chest cavity. There was a hole in the diaphragm where the bullet had passed through. Anything that the medical intervention team had done would not have caused that bullet to have gone through the diaphragm, the stomach, and the small intestine, and then pushed it into the muscle. That would have been impossible.
I'm going to pass you over to the defense.
Thank you.
When Obviously, this is a very devastating one.
Yes, sir, it was.
A lot of damage was inflicted left hip,
Yes,
and the way the bullet struck the left hip bullet, it caused tremendous amount of bleeding immediately.
correct.
And it's one of, it could easily be what you sometimes term as a rapidly fatal one.
Yes,
Most of the bleeding though, is it inside the body?
yes, sir.
And obviously, there's been evidence that there was some CPR administered by police officers as well as paramedics. And it appears that there was blood that came out the left side of the leg onto the foot. Would CPR, those efforts just keep pumping, would that actually be pumping the blood out of the body, out of the heart because of the bullets in the heart?
There would be blood leaking out of the existing hole, and then chest compressions would be contributing to continuing to push blood through the vascular system.
Well, let me ask you about the angle of the bullet. Okay. One of the things, when you're doing measurements of the body, one of the standard measures you should do is you weigh the body and you measure the length of the body, correct?
Correct.
As far as how thick the torso is, width of the chest, that type of thing, you don't usually do that.
No, sir.
You just describe the body shape.
Generally speaking, yes.
And is it fair to say that Mr. John, he was a 247-pound man, 6'1", and I think you said he was well-built, muscle.
Yes.
He had a big chest, big shoulders, that sort of thing.
Yes, sir.
She didn't take any direct measurements of how big his torso was with the bullet entered or where the bullet was lodged.
I did not.
The bigger a person's torso is, though, as compared to another person, though, might change the angle as to how the bullet went through the body, correct? If you had a deeper or a thicker torso, it would be quite severe if you were a thin person.
That's true to an extent, but if, a body laying on the table where gravity is pulling, tissues downward, those measurements are not going to be necessarily accurate or reflective of whatever scenario that shooting occurred in. Because bodies are fluid and in motion. So, body weight's going to be distributed differently.
Okay. That's one of the things you have to look out for in autopsies, because the body's already fluid in motion when the shooting actually happens.
Yes.
A person can turn their body, move their body very quickly, especially in a situation where they may be afraid, trying to avoid being shot, things like that.
Possibly.
Certainly not everywhere. It's just kind of common sense, right?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear the last
It's
part.
just kind of common sense, right?
I didn't hear the question before.
A person can move their body quickly if they're frightened, trying to avoid being shot.
I think, yes, I can. I mean, I would.
Yeah. Common sense there. Now, you said that the bullet entered above the left nipple and it struck the fifth rib.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
And it struck the front of the part of the fifth rib, correct?
Yes.
Okay. The report says that there were fractures of the fifth rib. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Prosecution used the word nick, the rib. Would you describe it as nick or as fractures, the better description?
Well, fractures is, what I use, so I would say fractured. The rib itself in that area is not that wide, so it, could have hit the lower portion of the rib and still fractured it.
Okay. But you didn't take a photograph of the injury to the rib?
No, I did not.
And you don't remember exactly how the rib was, correct?
I know it was fractured.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, you can't say it was nicked or you don't have the particular portion of where the rib was struck. You know what's going to be.
No, I just know that it was struck and fractured.
Okay. Now, you said that in your experience that the rib, when the bullet would strike the rib, it would not change it or cause a severe deviation of the angle at all, correct?
Correct.
Is it possible that it could cause a slight change of the angle?
A slight change, possibly.
Okay. And the projectile that you recovered, the type of that ammunition that's used, when it strikes an object or a body, it tends to flatten. Is that right?
Yes, I believe they're designed to do that.
Okay. And when a bullet goes into a body and flattens like that, it'll begin to tumble many times as it goes through its path of body, right?
If it starts to strike, more solid objects, it could start to tumble or wobble.
Okay. And we actually see that in the X-ray, do we not? That the front of the projectile is pointing upwards.
I don't know. I'd have to look at the X-ray again.
May I approach it?
Yes.
Let me show you what's been entered as stage 271. If you could look at the projectile in that X-ray.
Okay.
Does it appear that the flattened out part of the projectile is pointed up at an angle?
It appears that and when you say flattened, which flattened end are you referring to?
It looks to me like the more flattened and spread out end of the projectile is pointed upward.
Right. I would agree that the more deformed end of the projectile, which is typically the front end of the projectile, is pointing more upward. But the problems with X-rays is that it's two-dimensional, and so it doesn't give us a very accurate 3D spatial relationship of the projectile in the body.
And you said that the bullet was recovered from, is it the psoas? Am I pronouncing it?
Psoas.
Psoas. That's a muscle that's is very near the spine.
Yes, it sits. You have one on each side, and it sits right up against the spine.
Okay. And it looks like the X-ray, we can see the spine, and the bullet seems to be right next to it.
Yes, but again, the relationship of the bullet actually in the body, it's difficult to say with certainty based on films because it's a 2D image and we're dealing with 3D recovery of the bullet.
My question, and I have no idea, is it being that close to the spine, impacting like that, would that have any effect on the nervous system, the spine at all?
No, because it didn't strike the spine itself. It was just in the muscle next to the spine.
Oh, thank you. May I borrow your guideline?
Yes.
Judge, I'll ask you permission also if you need my so we can get a little more on it. Doctor, Hermes talked to you and showed how when you're determining the path of the bullet, you can't, it's not like CSI or the really old medical examiner showed Quincy that you can't tell exactly what happened from a crime scene just by examining the wounds of the body. Is that right?
We can't tell exactly, but we can make consistent with statements.
Right. But as far as where the shooter is and how the body was positioned, you do it all. You can tell where the muzzle is, and the shooter and the person shot can be in a number of different positions.
Right, as long as we're keeping that trajectory relationship the same.
Okay. And again, I'm not the same size, but is this roughly the angle you're talking about?
Yeah, I would pull the bottom more forward.
So,
Rotate the bottom end more forward towards your belly button. There you go. Yeah.
now, and it can happen in a number of ways. Mr. Hermes talked about a couple. If an individual were facing a person, walking up towards a person, and saw a firearm, if they ducked and the person shot at them, that could cause that type of deal, as long as it's that relation.
If you're flexed forward like that, yes.
Okay. And that could happen in a number of ways. A person can duck quickly and be in that position.
Well, it's not only the ducking, but it's also moving your forward portion of the torso
Right.
over. Yes.
Am I positioned that way?
It appears so, yes.
Okay. And when I got that way, I was ducking, correct?
Yes.
Okay. As long as it's in that position, and however you get there, ducking or bowing or whatever, that could be a scenario.
That would be consistent.
And lawyers do this often. We put medical examiners and ask all kinds of opinions about angles and body positions and likely scenarios, correct?
Correct.
And usually the most you can say is that could be consistent.
That's correct.
Okay. Yara, can I get a motion for the chair here so I can sit? Now, one scenario that's been discussed in court is sitting on a couch. And obviously, if a person's sitting on a couch, they could be placed in the same type of position. Make sure I get it right. Like this?
Yes.
Okay. And be shot so the bullet penetrates the body of the man, correct?
If you're sitting upright like that, no.
No, but I mean, if you're sitting, then you can put your body in a number of positions for that to happen.
Yes, if you're sitting and flex forward like you are there,
Okay.
yes.
I'm in the proper position now?
Yes.
Okay. But you'd have to be bent over this forward and then receive the shot from this angle.
Correct.
Okay. And if I were getting up off the couch and I bent forward like that, then I could also be shot in the same position.
Yes.
Okay. Now, people obviously get up off couches in different ways and can vary because of the physical condition, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You can bend forward like that to get up, or you can also just get up like this.
You can.
Okay. It just depends on the person and how their body reacts or how they stand up.
How they're feeling. Sure, it could be any number of variables.
Could be your age, what type of physical shape you're in, that sort of thing.
Yes.
And as far as how a body falls, you can't give us any opinion of medical certainty how that's going to happen.
I cannot.
A person can be shot in the manner that Mr. Gene was shot and could run half a block or a block. You've heard of cases like that?
I've, anecdotally have heard of cases and seen video footage where people have been shot in a similar manner and, taken steps or run several yards before collapsing, yes.
And a person could also be shot, they were ducking this manner and just simply fall backwards and collapse.
Can, yes.
It just depends on what happens to that particular person.
Yes.
Okay. You can't tell a jury with any certainty whether they're going to fall forward or whether they're going to fall backward.
I cannot.
Now, when a bullet strikes the body, though, it does so with the high velocity, correct?
Right, it depends on the ammunition and the firearm being used, but yeah,
In this case, obviously, it caused a lot of damage.
it did.
Would you agree? And I don't know the exact, ballistic experts obviously keep track of how far or fast bullets are fired from weapons, but we could probably agree it was coming out pretty quick.
Yes, I think for handguns, it's up, 800 to 1,200 feet per second,
Okay.
depending on the firearm.
And when a bullet strikes the body, obviously that can cause the body or will cause the body to react.
It can.
Could knock a person backwards.
It's possible.
Okay. They might fall forward too.
It's possible.
Okay, they could just stand there for a few minutes.
They could stand up, yes.
You just don't know. Everybody probably reacts differently.
It's a case-by-case scenario.
Obviously. And most of what you find out about that is through police reports, stories, video, as you said, or what you saw as what could happen with the body.
Yes, that's what I had to rely on.
But you can't, as a medical examiner, say the person was sitting on the couch and they were shot right there. That's going to cause them to fall forward, or it's going to be backwards, or they'll fall on the couch. You just don't know.
I mean, I can use consistent with statements, but right, with 100% certainty, I can't say that.
Okay, all right. And if they were leaning more forward like this, could it possibly make them, if they were getting off the couch, fall forward?
It could.
I have just a couple of questions, Judge. Dr. Gwynn, I neglected to ask you, I think Mr. Sherp did ask a couple of questions in that vein, but I do want to confirm. There's absolutely nothing uncommon with the ability of an individual who is shot with a small caliber bullet, like in this case, for that person to have several steps of purposeful movement. I think is how you described it to me when we met before.
It is.
Okay. So if you were to pull out a gun, sir, and you were to shoot me with a 9mm, it could hit me, correct?
It
So
could.
you were a good shot. Now, your testimony with Mr. Shook was that how a person responds to having been shot, you could have purposeful movement a couple of steps. You could have purposeful movement of no steps. You could have purposeful movement even in the rare cases where you've seen a person run for sunlight, correct?
That's correct.
It really just depends on the individual.
Yes.
Is that fair?
That's fair.
Okay, but isn't it true, like, we've all seen, I know this to be the case, we've all seen the movies where a guy takes out a handgun and he shoots somebody, and it like blows them out a window, right?
I've seen that.
That's not true though, right?
I've never heard of that happen.
Right. The mass of the bullet is not gonna blow the body back. It's going to-
Not
right?
with that caliber bullet, no.
It's gonna hit you, and just as you testified, the effect of that bullet is going to be an individual and based on the individual. Maybe that individual could take a couple of steps forward, fall forward. Maybe that person doesn't move at all and just drops. Maybe that person moves forward and falls back. That is an individual thing that could be different. 16 different times here, 6 different times here. Just, it depends on the individual.
It does.
But if there was any kind of, I just want to make sure, if there's any kind of suggestion that the bullet would have blown Mr. Jean, a 247-pound man, backwards with its mass, that's not accurate, is it?
I don't think so.
Thank you. Okay, that's the witness.
I heard it pretty good.
Subject to recall, Your Honor.
Thank you, Dr. Guyger.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, doctor, you didn't take any exhibits of it. Court reporter gets not going to do it. Your Honor, the state of Texas calls Robin Carr.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. Please give yourself.
Can I proceed, Judge?
Yes, please. Good afternoon, Ms. Carr. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
I'm okay. Could you let the court reporter know what your full name is and spell it for her, please?
My name is Robin Carr, Robyn, last name Carr.
Okay, and Ms. Carr, what do you do for them?
I am a crime scene analyst for the Dallas Police Department.
Okay, what is a crime scene analyst with the Dallas Police Department?
A crime scene analyst goes out to all major crimes against persons calls, such as homicides, suicides, assaults, kidnappings, robberies, officer-involved shootings, anything basically where someone is put in direct danger or harm.
Okay. Is it kind of like a crime scene investigator that we see oftentimes in movies?
Yes,
Okay, that sounds like it would be a fascinating life. Is it as good as it's depicted on TV shows?
it is. It may not be as glorious as TV, but yes,
You enjoy it?
I do.
How long have you been doing it?
I've been a crime scene and investigator for Dallas for 5 years now.
Okay, well, outstanding. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you.
I want to talk to you about September the 6th, 2018. Were you on duty on that particular day?
Yes, I was.
Were you dispatched to 1210 South Lamar, apartment 1478 on that particular evening to, process a crime scene where an individual had been shot?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a copy of your report? Have you read your report?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you understand how this works? The rules of evidence don't allow me just to stick a sticker on your report and give it to the jury. You got to testify a lot, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tell me what did the crime scene look like? Let's just start from when you got there. What did you do?
When I first arrived at the crime scene, I spoke to Detective Ibarra, who I was told he was the lead detective on the case. And after that, I spoke to my supervisor and my manager to decide what was going to be the next step. I had to change the angle of my vehicle so that I could back into the area. I drove the crime scene shooting van to the location. So I waited for Amber Guyger to come into the vehicle so that I could take photographs of her and continue processing the scene once we got a warrant.
Okay. And do you see the individual, the defendant in this case, Amber Guyger, do you see her in the courtroom?
Yes.
All right, would you please point to her and tell me what she's wearing?
A dark colored jacket and maybe a plain pink shirt.
All right, let the record reflect the witnesses identified the defendant in open court. You saw her there that particular evening?
Yes.
And as part of the standard operating procedures, did you take photographs for evidentiary purposes of the defendant as well as the other crime scene issues and elements?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Approximately what time did you get on scene?
Can I refer to my report?
Yes, ma'am, you can.
I arrived at the scene at 11:20 p.m.
Okay. And did you go up to apartment number 1478?
Yes, I did.
All right, before we go through the front door, did you notice anything on the outside of the door that you noted in your report?
There was a key hanging from the doorknob.
Okay, so there was a key that was in the doorknob on the outside of the door?
Yes.
Okay, Okay, and I'm sure you took some photographs of that, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did you notice whether or not there were any obvious signs of forced entry?
No, there did not appear to be.
Okay, and what are some of the signs of forced entry that you would see? Have you ever worked burglary and habitation cases before?
Yes.
All right, what are some of the telltale signs of forced entry?
Usually if there's forced entry to a door, you'll see like the deadbolt could either be off the door completely or it could just be hanging off. Sometimes it could be damage to like the top of the door frame and the side of the door. When you actually open it, the side will usually be damaged.
So, and I guess everything else in our lives, everything is different, but forced entry is usually some sort of indication on the door or on the door siding, which indicates someone went through a locked door.
Yes.
Okay, you didn't see any of that?
No.
Okay, so let's go inside the apartment. When you went inside the apartment, did you notice whether or not the television was on?
Yes.
Was the TV on
Yes, the TV was on.
in the living room?
Yes.
Okay, and did you notice whether or not there was a laptop computer on the ottoman? Was it on?
Yes.
Both of those were emitting light, is that correct?
Yes.
And from their positions in the living room, what direction were they emitting light or shooting light towards?
Towards the couch.
Okay. So when you do this, your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
And attempt to do two things at once in this car. Like you just very quickly. You've already testified, and these photographs have already been admitted, so I don't need you to go through all of them again right now. But I believe earlier today you did look through this stack, and you agree that these are going to be the photographs, or actually just a portion of the photographs that you took on September the 6th.
Yes.
Okay, and these are going to be, for purposes of the record, State's Exhibit number 53 through State's Exhibit number 187. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. While I'm doing that, I'm going to give the contents of State's Exhibit number 251 to the Deputy Sheriff's. So that they can have an inspection. All right, let's start with the photographs. Can I publish those?
Yes.
Judge, I'll tell you what, I actually think this Elmo performs better with the lights on, and let me turn off this light. All right, Ms. Carr, is this going to be the photograph that you took of the defendant on September the 6th, 2018?
Yes.
Okay. And this apparatus around the defendant's waist, is this commonly just referred to as duty gear or the utility belt?
Yes.
All right, as far as weapons that the defendant had at her disposal on that particular evening, what is this weapon right here?
Her taser.
It's a taser. It's a device that shoots an electrical current that can incapacitate a person, is that right?
Yes.
I don't object to the prosecutor testifying, or whether it can incapacitate or object to his testifying.
Rephrase your question, Mr. Herman, and is that State's Exhibit 53?
Yes, ma'am. State's Exhibit 53. And Ms. Carr, if you would like to, you can move that screen around so that you don't have to look up. Just however you're most comfortable, okay? All right, going back to State's Exhibit 53. You indicated this was a taser device, is that right?
Yes.
All right, do you know what a taser device does?
Yes.
What does it do?
It shoots out an electric probe that gets inserted into an individual's skin upon contact.
And generally, when you've seen that, what does the individual do?
I haven't seen it happen in person.
Fair enough. Do you know what this item is right here on her waist?
People. I'm not sure.
Okay, you don't know what this device is?
I'm not sure.
Okay, and what is this right here?
Can you point to it again?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
All right. States Exhibit number 54. Can you now see what this device is?
I believe her pistol.
Did you? Okay. All right, so this particular device here, is that going to be what?
Her pistol and holster.
Okay. And you don't know what this is right here?
I can't tell the contents of it.
States Exhibit number 55. Is that a better depiction of that item?
Yes, a pistol?
Okay. And can you now tell what that is?
No.
States Exhibit number 56. What is this device right here?
Radio?
Police radio?
Yes.
And can you tell what that is on the back of her belt?
I'm not sure.
States Exhibit number 57. Can you now tell what this is?
No, I can't.
So did you seize her gun from her hand?
Yes.
This is going to be a photograph, States Exhibit number 58, of the handgun that you took from this guy.
Yes, it is.
States Exhibit number 59. Does that indicate the unique serial number of the handgun that you took from the victim?
Yes.
States Exhibit number 62. You do something called an ammo count or an inventory of ammunition.
Yes.
All right, tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what's the purpose of doing that?
So when we collect a weapon from an officer, we always do a weapons count, and basically we take their weapon and we unload the magazine from it. And the magazine is the black thing on the side, not the pistol, on the side of the white rectangle. That's the magazine. Inside of it, it holds cartridges. So the cartridges would go inside of the magazine, and they will shoot out the actual bullet. So we count all of the cartridges. We also count how many magazines they have on them, how many cartridges are in those magazines as well, and if there is a cartridge inside the chamber of the gun.
Okay. And just so that you know, Ms. Carr, you have the ability, if you want to, if you touch your screen, you can write on it just like that if you want to indicate something to the jury.
Okay.
Would you indicate what you call the magazine, just put a circle or something on it? All right, and you said you were talking about a cartridge. What is the cartridge? Okay. So do you put cartridges inside the magazine?
Yes.
What is the capacity for the magazines that Ms. Guyger, the defendant, had on her?
She had a 9mm.
Okay. And how many rounds would fit into one of the magazines?
15.
Okay. And if they're 15, is there one that could be in the chamber as well?
Yes.
So how many bullets could be in a gun at one time? If the magazine is full and you have one in the chamber?
15 plus 1, so 16 cartridges can be inside of the gun.
Showing you States Exhibit number 63. Now you call this a cartridge, right?
Yes.
What else? This is also commonly referred to as a bullet.
No.
Okay.
Well, maybe by other people, but not by us, no.
Regular people in the world, we call this a bullet.
Yes.
Okay. Does the cartridge, this is the casing portion of it, is that right? Or the case portion of it?
What we're looking at is the head stamp.
Okay. And what does it indicate?
The head stamp indicates the make of the cartridge and also the 9 millimeters right here. So that's the caliber.
Case exhibit number 64, is this going to be the ammo count for the gun and the magazine containing the gun?
Yes.
All right, and how many total cartridges do you have?
This one at the top was from the chamber, and these were from the magazine. There were 13 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber.
All right, so if this firearm had been fully loaded with 15 in the magazine and 1 in the chamber, as you described it, could hold it, you've got 2 cartridges that are not there.
Yes.
State's exhibit number 65. You're now looking at how many different magazines did the defendant have on her utility belt?
3 total. 1 was inside the pistol.
Okay. So if I went back to the original photographs that you took of the defendant, you recognize what this is.
They're holders, but I can't tell from the picture what's inside of them.
Okay. What do you normally keep in there?
I don't have them myself, but I've seen officers carry magazines in them. Sometimes mace, I believe, as well.
In the other 2 magazines, can you tell me how many cartridges, or what normal people would call bullets, did you find in those magazines?
Yes, in both of these magazines, there were 15 cartridges each.
State's exhibit number 66, is that, the state's exhibit 66 visually depict the ammo count that were in those magazines.
Yes,
State's exhibit number 67, are they going to all be the same head stamp that you described earlier?
yes,
20-day 9mm Luger plus P rounds.
yes,
All right, so is that going to be the photographs that you took of the defendant, her gun, and her ammunition on September the 6th, 2018?
yes,
As part of your collection of evidence, were you asked, or was it arranged for you to get her uniform and her boots and the contents of her uniform?
yes,
Did you seize all of those as well and arrange for those to be put into property at the Dallas Police Department?
yes, I did.
All right. I'm going to show you State's exhibit number 68. Can you tell the jury where did you take the next series of photographs, and tell me where you began and where you ended?
Okay, so from what I recall, I took the next series of photographs from the garage on the 3rd floor, and basically from the garage moving towards Amber Guyger's apartment and the exterior of her apartment.
Okay. Had you been made aware that that was apartment 1378 on the 3rd floor?
Yes,
Okay, so, I mean, you don't know that personally, but you were made aware that that was her apartment, so that's why you took photographs.
yes, that's what I was told, so that's why I took the photographs.
So the first photograph that we have here, State's exhibit number 68, does that indicate a placard, a floor placard that's contained on the left inside door of the elevator?
Yes,
All right, and is there a similar one on the right side as well, if you remember?
I don't recall.
Okay. And then is this going to be a photograph from the 3rd floor that leads to a breezeway and then to the complex? State's exhibit 69.
I can't tell if it's from the 3rd floor or the 4th floor from this picture.
Okay, well, you just took a photograph of the 3rd floor elevator. Did you not take the next series of photographs from the third floor from the elevator to her apartment?
Yes, if this is in sequence, then yes, this will be from the third floor.
Okay, going across the sky bridge towards the complex?
Yes,
States exhibit number 72. Is this going to be the hallway leading into the complex?
yes,
As far as your photograph is concerned, do you try, you tell me, what are you trying to depict with the photographs? And are you taking photographs so that they kind of overlap one another, so that you can show like a continuous movement?
yes. So when I'm taking pictures, I'm basically trying to get, I'm trying to capture the whole scene. So by doing that, we are advised to take pictures overlapping. So if someone were to lay all of the photographs out, it would be like a clear scene of everything. So yes, I try to take overlapping pictures.
And I'm going to show you states exhibit number 73. So this is just going to be a continuation. Then from your last photograph, is that correct, going down the hallway?
Yes,
74.
continuing down the hallway.
75.
Yes, that's continuing down the hallway.
And once you get to the hallway here at the end, you have to make a turn.
Yes,
Find states exhibit number 76. Give us 1 second. While we're getting that, I'm going to go back to states exhibit number 69. In addition to the placard on the inside, you have an evacuation route that indicates that you're elevator number and on level 3 as well.
yes,
Going back now to the hallway, states exhibit number 76, where you make that turn. Does that show the turn? And then you're going to go down another hallway.
yes,
States exhibit number 77. Again, the continuation.
yes.
States exhibit 78.
Same, this was another continuation.
States exhibit number 79. Is this going to be outside of apartment 1378?
Yes,
And did you get the light bar next to the door, which indicates the apartment number you're taking a photograph of?
yes,
Is that the apartment?
yes,
States exhibit number 81.
if this is the same apartment door and apartment number, I just wanted to get a different angle.
Did you notice any kind of a format in front of apartment number 1378?
No,
Was it just the bare floor that was throughout the entire,
yes,
I mean, there was no floor mat or anything outside that apartment, was there?
no,
States exhibit number 82. Is that going to be the door and the door lock for that particular apartment?
yes,
All right, in the next series of photographs, starting with State's Exhibit number 83, this appears to be the elevator with placards indicating the fourth floor. Is that right?
Yes.
Can you see the inside door marker?
Yes.
You don't remember though, even on the fourth floor, whether or not there was also an identical one on the other side?
No, I don't recall.
On the placard or the sign next to it, does it indicate elevator 2, level 4?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 84, that's just another photograph of the elevator.
Yes.
And on the fourth level, it looks like you did take a photograph of the other side of the elevator to indicate the placard exists over there too, is that right?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit number 86, is this going to be the doorway that leads from the parking garage down to the fourth level through the breezeway?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 88. We're now going to be going down the hallway towards apartment 1478.
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 89.
Yes, still going down the hallway.
Okay, is this going to be before the left turn?
Yes.
As you make the left turn, State's Exhibit number 90, you indicate the apartment there at that end, is that right?
Yes.
Unlike the third floor where there was a flower pot, there's no such similar item here on the fourth floor, is that right?
No.
Is that, yes, that's right, there is no flower pot?
Yeah.
Okay. State's Exhibit number 91, again, just a continuation down the hallway.
Yes.
'92, the same thing.
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 93, is this as you're coming up on those, there's a set of, looks like fire doors that are opened up. Is this as you're about to, I mean, you haven't got up to it yet, is that right?
Correct.
All right, so tell me what we're looking at then from this vantage point before you get to the fire doors.
From here we can see there is crime scene tape back here and also a floor mat, a water bottle, and that was just the hallway right before we got to the complainant's residence.
Was that residence, what was that residence number?
1478?
All right, showing you State's Exhibit number 94. Is this going to be the complainant's residence, his front door?
Yes.
And then, did you take it from several photographs showing the vantage point of the complainant's front door?
Yes.
And did you get a State's Exhibit number 96? Is this going to be the lighted apartment number
Yes.
to the left of the door to 1478?
Yes.
Then State's Exhibit number 97. Would that be just from another perspective?
Yes.
All right, I believe earlier you testified that upon your arrival at the scene, you noticed that there were some keys hanging in the door of 1478, is that right?
Yes.
Can you tell me what we're looking at right there?
These are the keys that were hanging in the door, and the door was partially ajar as well when I arrived.
Do you remember that was because officers had thrown the deadbolt to keep it open?
I'm not sure. I wasn't told.
Just a closer view, State's Exhibit number 98, is that going to be the same keys?
Yes.
All right, at this point, Ms. Carter, can you go ahead and make entry into the apartment?
No, I waited until I had a warrant and then,
Very good, I appreciate you bringing that up. That's a very, very important point. Once the warrant had been signed by the judge to allow entry into the apartment, did you enter into apartment 1478?
yes.
Let's talk a little bit about it. This is gonna be the view. You tell me, what is the perspective from this angle?
I took this picture as soon as I opened the door. Basically, I stand on the threshold of the front door and I take a picture of everything that I see from my point of view.
Okay, and this is gonna be from the point of view that you had from the front door of apartment 1478?
Yes,
Okay. I know this is gonna sound personal, but it's actually very important. How tall are you?
I'm 5'3"3/4".
Okay, 5'3" 3/4 inches tall?
Yes,
All right. And you wear the kind of work boots that police officers wear?
yes,
All right, so you would have the same kind of shoes being worn by a police officer, and so you would be approximately the same height as a 5'3" and a 3/4 police officer in police boots.
yes,
And these photographs that you took, did you take these photographs from your perspective, from your eye?
yes,
Okay, and this is State's Exhibit number 99. So from your perspective, from your eye as you're walking in, can you see the couch in the background?
yes.
Can you tell me what's on the couch, just that you can see from your vantage point?
And it looks like a pillow over here. This looks like a blanket, but I'm not too sure right now.
Okay. But at the very least, you can see the pillow on the far end of that couch from the front door.
Yes,
Okay. You notice right here, is it fair to say that when you took this photograph, directly in front of you is going to be this area right in here?
yes,
Okay. Do you see any kind of, like, I would call it a baker's rack or a table of some sort with flowers and everything like that? Does that exist in this photograph?
no,
What is the condition would you consider this kind of a cluttered countertop?
yes,
You see this stuff here in the background. From the perspective of 5'3" 3/4 in work boots, can you see all the way back into the living room where the ottoman is and beyond?
yes.
All right. What does this appear to be?
A lamp?
Okay. State's Exhibit number 100. Yet another documentation again. This is also taken from the perspective of your eye, camera to your eye.
Yes,
All right. So, same thing as far as the layout of the room, is that right?
yes,
Can you see all these cushions of the couch, the seat backs?
yes.
What is this item right here on the ottoman?
A laptop?
That's going to be State's Exhibit number 100. Can you tell the jury from these photographs, it seems to be largely the same, but with some movement. Can you tell me the kind of movement that you're making and why?
Okay, so I was standing at the front door and then I wanted to turn so I could see what was on the other side and get pictures. As I stated earlier, how I take the overlapping photos. That's basically what I was trying to do. So I was just angling my body so that I could get pictures of the rest of the area of the apartment. What wasn't seen on this side, which was the kitchen.
And can you kind of describe the countertop? Is it consistently cluttered or is it just a little bit cluttered?
I would say it's more cluttered to this side than it was over here, but I mean, it was cluttered.
And over here on the wall, what do you notice?
Paintings?
What do you notice right there?
Right here, a computer.
All right, States Exhibit 102. Again, the perspective just a little bit closer now to the kitchen counter. Is that right?
Yes.
States Exhibit number 103. You have a pretty good perspective to this area of the couch.
Yes.
All right, Ms. Carr, I'm going to show you States Exhibit number 106. And I'm going to probably have to zoom in and out. I think later on in your photographs, you've placed plastic placard cards by the cases. I've always called them casings. I was told the other day they're supposed to be just cases. What do you call them?
Fire cartridge cases, FCCs,
Cases or casings?
cases.
Okay, good. I was told right. I was corrected. All right, is this going to be right here on the floor? Is that going to be a fire cartridge case?
Yes.
All right.
There's one.
And if I move this along,
It's down further.
is that going to be the second?
Yes.
So just as far as, again, depicting the room, what room are we in right here?
This was in the kitchen area.
Okay. So in the kitchen area, what is this item right here?
The dishwasher.
So you've got a case there and a case there.
Yes.
States Exhibit number 107, is that going to be a close-up of one of the cases?
Yes.
All right, States Exhibit number 112. So now from the perspective of the kitchen, we're looking at that same wall that you could see when you first walked in that led all the way to the back of the apartment.
Yes.
Okay. Do you notice any kind of decoration or ornament that's there in the middle of the wall?
No.
All right, States Exhibit number 121. Can you go ahead and just describe for the jury how you reposition yourself and where you're located now?
Now I was pretty much like on the side of the counter, and I was just taking a picture so that I could see the overall area of the living room.
Okay. Let me ask you this. What time approximately are you taking these photographs inside 1478?
I'm not sure because we waited a while for the warrant, so definitely after midnight.
Okay, so there's been at least a couple of hours after whatever has transpired in this room, at least several hours has passed, including the event itself.
Yes.
When you take photographs of a crime scene, this is the condition of the crime scene when you take the photographs.
Yes.
You don't know, for example, if this ottoman here had been moved a little bit.
Correct. I wouldn't know unless an officer told me.
Okay. For example, State's Exhibit number 117. You don't know what the condition of the stool was when the first responding officers, whether it was upright or knocked over, do you?
No, I wouldn't know.
But this was the condition of the room as it existed when you took photographs.
Yes, when I arrived,
Okay. And is this right here, is this the edge of the counter?
yes.
Okay. I just want to orient myself. And what room are we looking into here?
The living room,
State's Exhibit number 122. Is that going to just be further into the living room?
yes, this is, the living room, but from a slightly different angle. I was showing the couch and the, computer and the things on that side.
State's Exhibit number 123.
Yes, this is another angle from the living room. Me standing pretty much in front of the counter.
And is this going to be the television that you described earlier as having been on when you got there?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 124.
Yes, this was like a mid-range photograph. It shows the ottoman, a police vest, a lunchbox, the laptop, and other items that were on top of the ottoman, as well as the couch and stuff.
And what was this item right here on the ottoman?
It was a bowl, and it appeared to contain like melted ice cream, possibly.
All right, on the floor next to the ottoman, is that going to be, well, you tell me, what is that?
Police vest, receipt, and a lunch bag.
That's State's Exhibit 125. State's Exhibit number 126 now. And is that going to be the contents of the ottoman, what was on top of the ottoman when you got there?
Yes. There was a laptop, a remote, the bowl, a game controller, the book. This was like a medical bag. There was a wallet over here. I believe this was a cell phone, but I'm not 100% sure right now. I'm not 100% sure what those are right now either.
State's Exhibit number 129, this car is just going to be now from the back of the room with the vantage looking towards the front door in the kitchen area.
Yes.
And can you describe what this area is right here?
That was the area that had possible blood on the floor in the living room, as well as I believe there was like a cloth, maybe gauze of some type.
It appeared to be an area where a lot of blood, evidence of injury, but perhaps treatment.
Yes.
All right, State's Exhibit number 131. What is this?
This was just showing the top of the ottoman, everything that was on the ottoman from above.
State's Exhibit number 132. Does that clear up what this item was?
Yes, the laptop.
Okay, so just for like the spatial relationship, on the ottoman, you've got a cell phone, a laptop, the remote control, and a bowl of what looks to be melted ice cream, kind of clustered right there on the ottoman. Isn't that right?
Correct.
Now, what is the condition of the laptop at this time? Is it on or off?
It was on.
State's Exhibit number 133. And the melted ice cream, does it also look like there's some cookie or something in there?
Yes.
And you indicated that it was at least after midnight, State's Exhibit number 134, when you were taking these photographs.
Yes.
if the TV time is correct, does it sound strange to you that y'all are taking these photographs about 3 o'clock in the morning?
That sounds correct?
This is a long process, isn't it?
Yes.
Can you give me and the jury an idea, how long were you out at the scene, processing the scene, and then taking care of the evidence after the scene, doing the report, etc.?
I arrived at the scene at 11:20 p.m. I didn't leave to the scene until around 5:30 a.m. So that was my only call that night. I was there the entire night. I didn't actually clear, basically like taking myself off of the call when I was finished for that day until I believe 9:59 a.m. I didn't leave the office until around 12 because I remember getting home around 1, a little after 1 p.m.
So let's just figure out what this is. So what time did you go on duty that day?
And my shift starts at 10:30 p.m.
Okay, so what time do you get to work for a 10:30 shift?
Around 10:15.
All right, so you worked from 10:15 on September the 6th until you got home about 1 p.m. September the 7th.
Yes.
Does that happen?
Oh yeah, it happens a lot.
All right, State's Exhibit number 135. What are we looking at here?
This was the possible blood evidence that we saw on the floor, inside of the living room, on the side of the couch, as well as a cloth. And this appears to be gauze, but I'm not 100% sure at the moment.
All right, State's Exhibit number 136. Can you tell the jury what these appear to be right here?
Oh, these were like earbuds.
Is that what you youngsters listen to stuff in your ears with?
Yes.
That are not connected to wires?
Yes.
State's Exhibit number 137. Again, is this going to be a pretty good view of the living room area and the condition of the couch again when you were on?
Yes, it was another angle. I tried to make sure I get all 4 corners.
And then State's Exhibit number 138. Is this going to be a transition photograph for you between the living room area and then going into Mr. John's bedroom area?
Correct.
I know you took a bunch of photographs of all of that, but let me just ask you, was there anything of any kind of note that you think I need to cover in the bedroom or the bathroom area?
No.
Okay, very good. State's Exhibit number 140, we're going to go back to the kitchen because now you've placed placards down, is that right?
Correct.
Tell me why you do that. Why do you take photographs of everything and then stick plastic cones and take the same photographs again?
So I want to take pictures of the scene when I first arrive, as is, the way that I see it when I get there. So I'm the only person in the scene while I'm doing that. So all the pictures that we just viewed, I was the only person in there. And when I go back and I get my evidence markers, I put those down basically to mark the items of evidence. Anything that I want to collect from the scene, I'm going to mark it. And also, in case the detectives want to come in to the scene, then they can clearly see where the items of evidence are marked so that they're not, possibly stepping on them, or if any other crime scene analysts come into the scene, so that they're not stepping or kicking anything, because the casings are really small, so it's easy to step on if they're not marked.
And as far as the casing that you have here by your placard number 1, is this one of the, I'm sorry, I said it again, is this one of the cases that you picked up off the kitchen floor?
Yes.
Is it the same kind of headstand as the cases or the cartridges that were in the defendant's gun on September the 6th, 2018?
Yes, it's the same headstand.
Same head stamp on the second case that you picked up?
Yes.
States Exhibit number 141. Is this going to be the front door?
Yes,
All right, you remember earlier I asked you if the door, you indicated that the door was ajar? And I
Yes.
asked you whether or not was that because I said officers, but you don't know, had somebody thrown the deadbolt so that that door could stay open?
possibly, but not in front of me. So.
Okay, I'm not saying that.
Okay.
Look, here's what I'm asking, is the deadbolt thrown holding that door open?
Yes.
Okay. Next to that door, like right, very, very close to that deadbolt mechanism, what do you see here on the wall?
Light switches.
Okay, a bunch of light switches, right?
Correct.
And I'm showing you States Exhibit number 144. Again, that's the proximity that we're talking about from the door to the light switch, is that right?
Correct.
Would you consider that to be very close?
Yes.
All right, States Exhibit number 147. Ms. Carr, did you notice what appeared to be a bullet defect in the wall?
Yes, I did.
Did you take a photograph of that?
Yes.
All right. Can you describe the wall that this was on in the apartment?
This was the back wall to the apartment, the same wall where the back door was. Basically where the ottoman was, behind the ottoman, cat a corner to the couch.
I'm going to zoom in if this will let us. But you documented this as a bullet hole defect in the back wall, is that right?
As a defect, yes.
Okay. States Exhibit number 146. Is that going to be in this general location right there?
Correct.
All right, I do want to actually show one picture from Mr. John's closet. Did you see a box, a TV box, in the upper shelf of his closet?
Yes.
And can you tell me what the box indicates as far as the size of that particular television?
50-inch TV, smart TV, HD TV.
All right, States Exhibit number 160. It looks like you've now put some marking around that bullet defect that you saw on the wall. Tell me what you're doing there.
Yes, so when we see defects in the walls, we will put evidence markers down. They're like stickers, and we can just stick them around the defect, and I labeled it defect A.
Okay. And is this going to be a close-up?
Yes,
Same thing.
yes.
All right, States Exhibit number 163. This is going to be the fourth floor again, as indicated by the elevator.
Yes.
All right, and can you tell what that is over
Like a roof.
there? The roof line? States Exhibit number 167. Again, also from the fourth floor. Can you tell what this is right here?
A roof line.
States Exhibit number 168. Again, same perspective. You see the roof of the building, is that right?
Yes,
States Exhibit number 169. Will you advise whose vehicle this is?
yes. I was told that it was Amber Guyger's vehicle.
Did you take various photographs from that particular vehicle?
Yes,
States Exhibit number 174. This is going to be on the other side of the elevator. Is that accurate?
yes,
What do you see on the other side? With the roof from the other side of the perspective?
yes,
And you earlier indicated these particular areas here are going to be where the markers are for the floor number on the elevators.
yes,
And this is going to be the evacuation sign showing level 4 at this particular location.
yes.
Okay. We're getting very close. This is, all right, so States Exhibit number 177. Are these going to be the defendant's uniform pants that were collected as part of your search as well?
Yes,
And States Exhibit number 178, what does that show?
a pocket knife.
I want to go back. Well, are you familiar with these pocket knives? Have you seen these before?
I've seen pocket knives before, not one like that.
Okay. I'm going to show you back on States Exhibit number 57. Right there in her pocket. Do you happen to know what that is?
It could be a pocket knife.
You're not for sure though?
Not for sure because I can't see.
States Exhibit number 184. Are these going to be the work boots that were collected also from the defendant at that particular evening?
Yes,
And States Exhibit number 187. Is this going to be the uniform top of the shirt that you had collected from the defendant as well?
yes,
How you doing, Mr. Are you doing all right?
I'm okay.
Good. I'm going to show you what's in evidence of States Exhibit number, oops, I'm sorry, 246 is the envelope. And then inside is States Exhibit number 247 and 248. Would you look at those two items and tell me if you recognize those?
Yes.
Okay, what are those?
They're two fire cartridge cases from the crime scene.
All right, so when in the visual depictions in the photographs of the two cases that were picked up off the floor of Mr. John's apartment, is that going to be what we're looking at right here?
Yes,
All right, did you see your initials on here to indicate that that's what these are?
yes,
All right,
the top.
RCT 251,
Yes,
is that on both?
yes.
All right, you want that published to the jury?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me, why would you collect cases? What evidentiary value could these things possibly give us?
Well, we collect fire cartridge cases because they can be analyzed later by our NIBIN team.
Now, with the case, some of us are familiar with guns and some are not. as this ends up in this particular condition, do you know where the projectile is on this case before it is fired?
Yes,
Can you show the jury where that would be? Okay. And when the projectile is fired, what happens to the case? Is it ejected from the handgun?
yes, it gets ejected from the handgun.
Had you been made aware of this car that an individual had been shot this particular evening?
Yes,
Is that why you found it important to collect the bullet cases, or the cartridge cases?
yes.
All right, Your Honor, may I publish to the jury States Exhibit 253 and 254? I'll represent to the court. The deputy sheriff has inspected States Exhibit 253 and has determined it to be safe.
Yes.
All right, 254 first. This is going to be the magazine, one of the magazines that was contained within the defendant's gun. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, and it's empty now, the bullets have been removed?
Yes.
As far as the way in which a magazine works is that you load your cartridge into this and they will push down until you have 15 of them,
Yes.
if you wish,
Yes.
or any number up to 15.
Correct.
And then you insert the magazine into the firearm, therefore having bullets then in the gun, and then you could rack the slide and you can actually put one into the chamber.
Correct.
Is that how semi-automatic works?
Correct.
And then States Exhibit number 253. Is this going to be the handgun that was taken from Ms. Guyger on September the 6th, the defendant on September the 6th, 2019?
Correct.
Ms. Carr, did you find any guns other than the gun the defendant had? Were there any other guns in apartment 1478 that you found?
No.
Did you find anything that were obvious weapons inside 1478 that you seized?
No.
In and around where the blood stains were, that we've seen in your photographs, which by the way, thank you for taking so many photographs. That way, the jury or whoever can look at those and look at them from every angle. So, but in and around the area from the couch to where the blood stains were, did you see any weapons, knives, clubs, sticks, guns, hand grenades, anything?
No, not in that area, no.
Did you notice any injuries on the defendant when you photographed her?
No.
Did you look and see whether or not you could see any visual indications of blood on her uniform?
Yes, and I did not see any.
I'll pass the witness.
We are going to break at this point. Again, I'm giving you the same admonition. I don't think you'll have access to media, but in the event that you do, please don't watch, read, or listen to anything concerning this case. And we will resume with your cross-examination tomorrow at 8:30. All right.
All right, that's day 3. If y'all ain't been watching this case, y'all should definitely look into day 1 and 2, especially day 1. Shout out to Long Crime Network. That's who I was streaming. Shout out to y'all for coming through. Tony Les, what's going on, bro? Appreciate that, man. But yeah, y'all should definitely check that out. Check out day 1 and 2. You can go to that page I just showed. I will probably listen to the opening statements and all that, and look a little more into the testimonies that was given and all that. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was saying. That's what I've been saying. I'm gonna know out off top that is not my crib just off the smell. You know what I'm saying? You know the smell of your house. If you walk in, that shit don't smell right. Automatically, you're gonna be thrown off. Automatically. Oh, they got an app too, but it's fidgety. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm telling you, you're gonna be thrown off top. She definitely guilty. You know what I'm saying? That's without a doubt. Ain't no mistake, none of that shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel she a lot of people saying they feel she guilty of manslaughter. I feel she and possibly they could get her with 2nd-degree murder. But a lot of people feel like she might get away with it. I got a bad feeling she might get off with it too. Because you know, a lot of people feel that the charge should have been manslaughter. I think that was the initial charge she got was manslaughter. Then they upped it to murder. But like I said, they could get her with 2nd-degree murder. But if the jury don't feel like it's murder, then she can get off on that shit. What's good, Mel Carter? They just need to prove it wasn't a mistake. She was like, oh yeah. Yeah, definitely wasn't a mistake, but like you said, you gotta prove it. Gotta prove it. But yeah, I might the red mat when they show how bright that red mat was. Come on now. And you're a police officer, you're supposed to be well aware of your surroundings. You're supposed to be paying attention to detail, all that. You know what I'm saying? And you just miss just countless signs that you was on the wrong floor. Then you walked in and so many things that should have told you was in the wrong apartment. And I'm sure he told you was in the wrong apartment, but you was just so ready to use your gun. And this was her second time shooting somebody. This is her she had an incident, I think it was damn, I'm not exactly sure of the year, but she had another incident where she shot somebody. I'm not sure of the exact details on that, but you know, this would have been her second case. And this time she ended up killing him. They saying she got an apartment because the door was slightly open, slightly ajar. They saying there was something wrong with his door, or sometimes when it closed, it don't close all the way and it be slightly open, or that sometimes when it closed, the lock don't engage or whatever, and it be basically open. If you walk up to it and pull it, or push it, it'll be open. That's what they saying. But I'm not exactly sure, because that could be based off what Amber Guyger said. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if they tested the door to see if it's sometimes it. I'm not exactly sure. I might have to go back and watch some of that first day myself, because I didn't catch everything the first day. I didn't catch everything the second day. You know, sometimes you got to walk in and out. Just hope you don't miss nothing important type shit. But I missed a lot more the first day than yesterday. Right. Yeah, I was thinking it was a year. I wanted to say 2017, but I wasn't exactly sure. I would have to go back and watch my videos I did when it first happened. But yeah, it was a year before. Yep. So basically, you could say she trigger happy type shit. But like I said, that could be based off of what Amber's saying, because she was the only one there. It was her and him, so everything is based off her word. But they saying that the door was slightly open, and it was some with his door. I think they referenced like with like the moisture, humidity, sometimes that affect whether or not it'll close all the way and all that. Why shoot your gun though? What if a family member came over and was waiting for it? I would look to see who's in my house before I shoot my gun. Exactly, man. Exactly. Since she's saying it was, she thought it was her apartment. Waiting for that warrant. Anything could happen. Yep. And she was so tired why she didn't try to get another vehicle to drive home. That's the thing though, Tamika. That's why y'all gotta watch that first day. But basically what they told us the first day, old girl Amber Guyger, she had a relationship with another officer. I'm not sure if it was her partner, but she had a relationship with another Dallas officer named Martin Rivera. And he they basically the whole entire workday they was texting each other, you know what I'm saying, on some freaky shit, you know what I'm saying. She was on the phone with the Martin Rivera dude, because they was finna meet up after work. So dude, Martin Rivera was supposed to come over to her crib after she got there. They was on the phone. She pulled over just to call him. What they was talking about in that conversation, you know, they say they don't remember what the conversation was about, you know, playing dumb and shit. You know, cops, they can lie on the stand and get away with it and shit, you know how that go. But they pulled over on the side of the road and they had a conversation literally 3 minutes before she walked into the wrong apartment and shot and killed both of them. But they was texting the whole day, right? So she was so-called so tired, right? But she wasn't going home to go to sleep. She was anticipating some shit. You feel me? So how tired was you, right? And you know they deleted them motherfuckers, right? Deleted the text. Him and her deleted the text. What's good, BXO? Appreciate you coming through. But the basic rundown of this story is Amber Guyger. She was a Dallas police officer. She was off duty at the time. She walked into the wrong apartment that she thought was her apartment. Walked into the wrong apartment and shot and killed Botham John. And now she on trial for murder. I'm wondering that too, J Mac. That's why I low key I gotta go back and watch that whole part where they was explaining all that with the lot and see exactly what they said, because I know they mentioned humidity and, you know, moisture and all that to sometimes affect the lot. But I'm trying to hear if they tested that themselves, if they tested the door themselves to see if it do that, or if they going off what Amber Guyger said, that the door was already open type shit, or, you know. Because when this story first came out, you know how a lot of shit be coming out. Some people were saying that they heard her knock on the door and shit like that. Some people were saying that they had a relationship and shit like that. But it came out later. The family said that he didn't have no relationship with her and shit like that. So, you know, a lot of that shit just be hearsay. So you can't really trust a lot of that shit, especially when it first leaked. Well, not leak, but the story first come out. Man, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tony. That's what a lot of people were saying the first time. They were speculating that, you know what I'm saying, they had a relationship. Dude cut her off or some shit, and she was mad. She couldn't handle it or some shit. But she had a relationship with the cop too. So, man, it's crazy. I know one thing, she definitely guilty. She definitely guilty. Yeah, Mel. You heard about that too? Oh, okay, for sure. Cause I heard about that. I heard about that yesterday when I was watching this case. I heard about the impeachment, yada yada, with Trump. You know, I really don't care about the presidential shit. I pay attention to it, but I don't buy into it. You know what I'm saying? But I do pay attention to it from here and there. I think it'd be funny to if Trump actually got impeached. That should be funny if he got impeached. But I don't think he actually I don't think he actually gonna get impeached. Oh, you on the east side? That's what's up. You know, I'm on the north side. Dirty north side. Shit, this whole city dirty though. Yeah, that's how I be feeling. It's all staged, it's all a show. You know what I'm saying? I knew once I knew once tweets started being news, tweets from the president and all type of tweets and shit. I knew this shit all a show. These motherfuckers using tweets from goddamn Twitter as our news. This shit is crazy. We watching motherfucking the president troll and shit, and this is fucking news. Come on, man, this shit is a joke. Yeah, exactly. That's why I said I don't believe it, but that shit'd be funny if he did get impeached. Because there's people out here who really uh who really fuck with Trump, you know what I'm saying? And you know, they like diehard Trump supporters, and you know, they follow his every move, and he can do no wrong and all that shit. So that should be funny. But if he did get impeached, I feel like it some shit go down. These motherfuckers ain't gonna go out without a fight. They're gonna be remembered, and Trump fans gonna be remembered. They gonna go out with a fight. Like that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gonna be gone next year any motherfucking way. Shit. What the fuck? He gonna be gone next year. But I tell you this: if he don't get impeached, that means he gonna win. He gonna win a second term. That'll be the only reason they trying to impeach that motherfucker, so he can. So there's no possible way he can run for a second term. Am I right? If you get impeached, you can't run for president again, right? I'm not sure on that, but I'm guessing that'll be the only thing that makes sense. That'd be the only thing. Yeah, that's how you know this should be a show. Motherfucking Simpsons predict everything. Yeah, I'm telling you, some shit gonna kick up. Some shit gonna kick up. I'm gonna be low. They announced that Trump get impeached. I'm gonna be low. You ain't gonna be able to find me. I'm gonna be somewhere with a radio, making plans. Yeah, that's why I ain't think that's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? So I just threw y'all. I'm predicting some shit right now. I'll be making all type of predictions that be low key coming, right? But I don't ever say it out loud and shit. So I don't bring it up because motherfucker think you lying. So I'm gonna start going live and documenting my little predictions I'll be making and shit. Shout out to the Simpsons and the Boondocks for real though. Crystal coming. Hey, they going to give her time because Dallas police is on edge right now. They don't have enough manpower. They're trying to make sure that nothing really happened because stay fair here in town. Oh, for real? I heard they was trying to postpone the trial for the state fair. They was on that shit. I heard about that. I've been keeping up on it. I ain't been posting videos like I said, but I've been keeping up on it on Facebook. It's this one lady, she posts all the updates. They had to bring in the state trooper. Oh, for real? Yeah, they feel like something about to pop off, so they're making sure they got reinforcements. I see what I see what you're saying, Crystal. Hey, we had a Rick and Morty bus or some shit. It was a big ass had a big ass what's the name? I low key don't watch the show, so I don't know which one Rick and Morty. I think Rick the old dude, right? I don't know. I seen it a couple times, but I don't watch it like that. But they had a bus with a big ass old dude head on it. Hold on, real quick. Hold on. Let me grab my phone. All right, yeah, Rick the old dude. Okay. Yeah, I just seen it a couple times. There you go, Bam. You good? What's good, Bam? But yeah, I'm probably finna get up out of here. But I don't know. I just got this bad feeling. Got this bad feeling though that she gonna get off on this shit. I think that's what all cops though. You feel like they gonna get off, get away with that shit. But I'm waiting on her to take the stand. I think that's gonna be the most interesting part. Well, one of the most interesting parts is her taking the stand. We'll see though. I hope not. I hope she gets something. I hope she don't get off. I hope she gets something, but not a light sentence. You feel me? But I'll catch y'all later. Appreciate y'all coming through. Okay, they did test the doors. Thank you, Crystal, for letting me know that. Oh yeah, exactly. Yep, that body movement. But I'll see y'all later. I'll see y'all around.